What if global warming was reversed? It's a tantalizing thought, isn't it? Imagine a world where the ice caps are growing, sea levels are falling, and extreme weather events are becoming less frequent. But how could we achieve such a monumental feat? Let's dive into the realm of possibility and explore the potential technologies and strategies that could combat climate change on a global scale. First, let's consider carbon capture and storage. This technology aims to remove carbon dioxide directly from the atmosphere or capture it at the source before it's released. Picture massive air scrubbing machines dotting the landscape, each one capable of filtering out thousands of tons of CO2 every year. These captured emissions could then be stored deep underground in depleted oil and gas reservoirs, or even transformed into useful products like building materials. But why stop at capturing carbon? We could also enhance the Earth's natural carbon sinks. Imagine vast swathes of barren land transformed into lush forests through aggressive reforestation efforts. These new forests would act as giant carbon sponges, absorbing CO2 from the atmosphere and locking it away in their trunks, branches, and roots. And it's not just land-based solutions we're talking about. The oceans, which cover 70% of our planet's surface, could play a crucial role too. By seeding certain areas with iron, we could stimulate the growth of phytoplankton, microscopic marine plants that absorb carbon dioxide as they photosynthesize. Now let's turn our attention to energy production. Imagine a world where fossil fuels are obsolete, replaced entirely by renewable energy sources. Picture entire deserts covered in solar panels, harnessing the sun's energy on an unprecedented scale. Offshore wind farms could stretch for miles along coastlines, their massive turbines spinning silently as they generate clean electricity. And let's not forget about nuclear fusion, the holy grail of clean energy. If we could crack this technology, we'd have access to virtually limitless, emission-free power. But reversing global warming isn't just about reducing emissions and removing carbon from the atmosphere. We might need to get a bit more creative. Enter geoengineering, the deliberate large-scale manipulation of Earth's climate systems. One proposed method is stratospheric aerosol injection. This involves releasing reflective particles, like sulfur dioxide, into the upper atmosphere to reflect some of the sun's energy back into space. It's essentially giving the Earth a pair of sunglasses. Another idea is marine cloud brightening, where we'd use specially designed ships to spray seawater into the air, creating brighter, more reflective clouds that would bounce more sunlight back into space. Now, I know what you're thinking. These ideas sound like something out of a science fiction novel, and you're not wrong. Many of these technologies are still in their infancy, and some are highly controversial. But if we're serious about reversing global warming, we need to consider all options. So what would the world look like if we successfully implemented these strategies? Let's paint a picture. Imagine waking up in a world where the air is cleaner than it's been in centuries. The smog that once choked our cities has dissipated, replaced by clear, crisp air. As you step outside, you notice the streets are quieter. The rumble of gas-guzzling engines has been replaced by the soft hum of electric vehicles. You check your phone and see that your home's solar panels have already generated enough electricity to power your house for the day, with plenty left over to feed back into the grid. As you walk to work, you pass by a park that didn't exist a decade ago. It's part of your city's urban reforestation project, one of thousands around the world. The trees not only absorb carbon, but also provide a haven for wildlife that had long since abandoned urban areas. You overhear a news report on someone's radio. Apparently, the Arctic ice sheet has grown for the 5th consecutive year. Scientists are cautiously optimistic that the trend will continue. At work, you join a video conference with colleagues from around the world. Travel isn't as common as it used to be, not because it's restricted, but because people have realized the environmental benefits of remote work. Plus, with the advent of advanced virtual and augmented reality technologies, it often feels like you're in the same room anyway. For lunch, you head to a nearby restaurant. The menu is dominated by plant-based options, with meat dishes clearly marked as more expensive luxury items. It's not that meat is banned, but changing attitudes and carbon pricing have made it a less popular choice. Your salad is made from vegetables grown in vertical farms right in the city, reducing transportation emissions and land use. As you eat, you overhear a conversation at the next table. A group of engineers is excitedly discussing the latest breakthrough in fusion technology. Apparently, a reactor in Europe has just achieved net energy gain for a sustained period. If the results can be replicated, it could revolutionize the world's energy systems. On your way home, you pass by a construction site. The building going up is made entirely from carbon-negative materials, concrete that absorbs CO2 as it cures, and wood from sustainably managed forests that will continue to sequester carbon throughout the building's lifetime. At home, you check your personal carbon account. Like everyone else, you have a carbon budget that you try to stay within. It's not a legal requirement, but it's become a point of pride for many. You smile as you see you're well under your limit for the month. You decide to treat yourself by booking a vacation. You browse through options for ecotourism resorts, places that not only minimize their environmental impact, but actively contribute to conservation efforts. Before bed, you watch a documentary about the Great Barrier Reef. Once on the brink of collapse due to ocean acidification and rising temperatures, the reef is now thriving. Marine biologists have successfully bred and introduced heat-resistant corals, and strict regulations on fishing and tourism have allowed the ecosystem to recover. This future might seem like a utopia, but it's important to remember that reversing global warming wouldn't be without its challenges and potential drawbacks. For one, the transition to this new world would likely be economically disruptive. Entire industries built around fossil fuels would need to be phased out, potentially leading to job losses and economic instability in certain regions. Governments and corporations would need to invest trillions of dollars in new infrastructure and technologies. There could also be unexpected consequences to our interventions. For example, while geoengineering techniques like stratospheric aerosol injection might cool the planet, they could also alter precipitation patterns, potentially causing droughts in some areas and floods in others. The ocean iron fertilization we mentioned earlier, it could lead to oxygen-depleted dead zones in the oceans if not carefully managed. Moreover, there's a risk that successfully reversing global warming could lead to complacency. If we start seeing positive results, some might argue that we can relax our efforts or even return to our old carbon-intensive ways. This could potentially trigger a reversal of the reversal, plunging us back into a climate crisis. There's also the question of global cooperation. Climate change is a global problem that requires global solutions, but getting all countries to agree on and implement drastic measures could be a monumental challenge. Developed countries, which have historically contributed more to global warming, might be expected to shoulder more of the burden. This could lead to international tensions and disputes over fairness and responsibility. And let's not forget the ethical implications. Some of the technologies we've discussed, particularly in the realm of geoengineering, involve manipulating the Earth's systems on a massive scale. Who gets to make these decisions? How can we ensure that the interests of all nations and ecosystems are considered? These are complex questions that would need to be addressed. Despite these challenges, the potential benefits of reversing global warming are immense. Beyond the environmental impacts we've discussed, think about the geopolitical implications. Many conflicts around the world are exacerbated by resource scarcity, which is often linked to climate change. By reversing global warming, we could potentially reduce these pressures and contribute to global peace and stability. There could also be significant health benefits. Air pollution, which is closely linked to the burning of fossil fuels, causes millions of premature deaths each year. In our imagined future of clean energy and cleaner air, we could see a dramatic improvement in public health outcomes. Economically, while the transition would be challenging, it could also drive innovation and create entirely new industries. The green technology sector could become a major source of jobs and economic growth. And by avoiding the worst impacts of climate change, we'd be saving trillions of dollars in potential damages and adaptation costs. Biodiversity could flourish in this reversed warming scenario. Many species currently threatened by habitat loss and changing climates could recover, maintaining the delicate balance of our ecosystems. We might even see the return of species thought to be extinct. as has happened in some areas where conservation efforts have been successful. But perhaps the most profound impact would be on our relationship with the planet. Reversing global warming would require a fundamental shift in how we view our place in the world. We'd need to move from an extractive, exploitative relationship with nature to one of stewardship and harmony. This shift in mindset could have far-reaching implications beyond just environmental issues, potentially leading to more sustainable and equitable societies overall. In conclusion, reversing global warming is an enormous challenge, but it's not an impossible one. It would require unprecedented global cooperation, massive investments in new technologies, and a fundamental reshaping of our economies and societies. The path to this future would be fraught with obstacles and hard choices, but the potential rewards, a healthier planet, more stable societies, and a sustainable future for generations to come, make it a goal worth pursuing. As we stand at this critical juncture in human history, we have the knowledge, the technology, and the resources to tackle climate change. The question is, do we have the will? The future of our planet hangs in the balance, and the choices we make today will echo through generations. So let's imagine that better world where global warming is not just stopped, but reversed. And then, let's work to make it a reality, because in the end, the Earth is not just our home, it's our responsibility, and reversing global warming might just be the greatest challenge and the greatest achievement of our species.